The state of the Yankees.
Yes, the state of the Yankees. So,
Because the Yankees aren't going to get canceled either, just because there's a handful of their fans that are assholes.
and it's more than a handful, but it was
A section,
well, on both sides.
apparently a section.
On both sides. In
on
both sides.
yeah.
On
Left
the
and
right,
field, the bleachers.
And that is a problem. It's not a huge problem. It would be I don't know what the Yankees have done about this, but I would think with today's cameras and that they could find every single person and they could ban every single one of those people
from the stadium. Yeah.
This is what I don't understand is how you go from where you were, and the Yankees fans in the right field have always been obnoxious and loud, and
they're called the bleacher creatures
and passionate
for a reason.
and passionate. But it's not to the point where you start throwing stuff at the players. Like that's ridiculous. That's next level absurdity.
Douchebaggery.
Yes.
You're a D-bag.
You won. You don't need to compile by chucking stuff at the other players.
Yeah.
If you lost, I can see using your water bottle at most and throwing the water onto the field or something like that because you're mad or whatever, but you don't throw something at players.
No. Nope.
Nope. Could be assault.
Yeah.
If you hit them with something that I know that they have aluminum cans and stuff like that, but if that aluminum can's full and it hits a player in the face, you're going to fracture his jaw.
There is only one time where I can remember where fans at any event of any kind threw something at athletes, or in this case, superstars, and I thought it was warranted. But not that it was warranted. Sorry, that it not only.
I was waiting to see what you're saying, warranted. All right, let me hear this going.
Not only was it warranted, but it enhanced the moment. It actually made it better. And that was when Hulk Hogan became Hollywood Hogan and he turned heel and he was in his ring and he was cutting the promo. This was 1996 Bash at the Beach or whatever. Yeah. And he turned on the fans and they just littered the ring with garbage. It made the moment even more amazing than it already was. It actually was what really made the moment. Was people throwing litter and trash at Hulk Hogan. Mm-hmm. The eternal good guy. But in the real life world of sports, which we witnessed this weekend, look, that's a bad look. That's a bad look for Yankee fans. Mm-hmm. But the one thing I don't like, and again, look, in the spirit of being accountable, because that's one of my things. Hopefully that's a lot of our things. Yeah, this was bad. Shame on Yankee fans. Shame on those particular Yankee fans who felt like, I don't know what happened out there in left field, because in left field, nothing was thrown. Those were words exchanged.
Yeah.
Between Straw and and some, I don't know. I actually haven't even seen any stories about what was specifically said. I'm sure there was a lot of your mothers and stuff like that.
No. What happened was it Quan that went into the fence?
Yeah, one of them. I mean, it was Straw was Quan was the guy who crashed into the wall.
Into the fence, and the fans were telling. They're hoping that he got hurt.
Hoping he was hurt, right? Yeah. Okay, right. So totally classless. Just
classless saying as really, yeah. That's
classless as it gets.
You don't. I really dislike Tom Brady. I have grown to not dislike him as much.
But you wouldn't since he went to Tampa dildo Bay. At him, right?
No, I might do that, but because Bill's Mafia. But those are very soft.
I supported Bill's Mafia.
It was floppy. It was very floppy. It wasn't a hard one.
What was my quote? Anytime Tom Brady goes up, you are well within your rights to throw a big floppy dick on that field.
Yeah. But when it comes to, I would not wish injury upon him.
No,
you don't wish injury upon any athlete. You want to take them down at their best. That is what you really want. You want to take them down at their best. Not
Be the man. You got to beat the man.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, no, it was just, and then look, as far as what those idiots and those asshole clowns in right field were doing, throwing stuff, yeah, completely uncalled for. Those people, the people in left field, look, are they assholes? Yeah. I don't know that you can, with a camera, start to identify those people. And there was no physical activity there, but the people who threw shit, yeah, you gotta see if you have a way of identifying any of the individuals who did that. And yes, to your point earlier, with technology being the way it is today, we should be able to do that. Yeah. Then yeah, those people they need a lifetime ban from Yankee Stadium, without a doubt. There's just no need for that. The one thing I did not like this weekend, and I saw a lot of it, and again, trying to remember what Twitter is, the rectum of the internet, as Lady Gaga once put it.
Well, Elon Musk is trying to fix that.
Yeah, I'm sure he is. The one thing that I didn't like, a lot of guys with check marks out there saying stuff like, well, this is just the Yankee fans. These are Yankee. The worst fan base in the world, and it's like, okay, you cannot paint the entire fan base with a broad brush like that, because if you do that, you have to say other things like all Red Sox fans are racist and all Philadelphians throw batteries. Yeah. Like you can't. You're talking about like isolated incidents that involved a few individuals.
Yeah.
Now, are Yankee fans extremely passionate and are a lot of them assholes? Absolutely. I mean, but are we talking like you're going to vilify an entire fan base and paint that broad brush just because of the actions of a select few? Uh-huh. It's like saying all cops are bad.
Right.
It's sorry.
A majority of the cops are good. There's a select few that are not.
And those are the ones that end up on camera.
Right.
But then what happens is you're painting an entire group of individuals with one broad brush, and it's not right. It's just not right. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and look. I don't love Red Sox fans. Well, I shouldn't say that. Most of my closest friends are Red Sox fans. I don't like the Red Sox fan base overall in general because we're Yankee fans. That's the way it is, right? But I'm not going to sit here and say every Red Sox fan is a racist.
Right.
It's just dumb.
I mean, they are, but I'm just...
That's just a stupid statement.
It is. It's very dumb.
I mean, it's just come on. Let's not be prisoners of the moment. Can we just back off of, let's just back up. It would also be like, and here's another thing I don't want to, it'd be like saying like every single Astros fan out there was okay with them cheating. Now, I will say this. Every Astros fan I've ever encountered on Twitter absolutely is okay with it. They just don't care because they're hiding behind their keyboard, and that's perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. But I guarantee you there are some Astros fans out there who are not proud of what that team did. I will guarantee you that there are some Red Sox fans who are not proud of the whole Apple Watch thing. And there's going to be a lot of Yankee fans, probably you and I included, who sometime within the next 4 or 5 days are not going to be very proud about whatever details come out of that letter that's going to be open to the public pretty soon about whatever cheating the Yankees were involved in, which we all know they obviously were, because otherwise the Yankees would not have been fighting so hard to get that letter stricken from existence. But it's going to come out, and we're going to have to sit here and say, we're going to have to own it. Mm-hmm. We're going to have to own it. Because you know what? That'll be the difference between people like you and me and some of these other people in these other fan bases who don't want to own it. Whatever the Yankees, did, mm-hmm. I'm sure you and I will be like, yeah, fuck, that's awful. Just like we were about A-Rod.
Yeah.
We'll own it.
That is one of those things that is, I have no problem.
I will anyway.
I have no problem owning that stuff and shunning them for it, or
yeah, right. Does it mean I'm not going to be a fan of the team anymore?
Right.
No, absolutely not.
Right.
That's dumb.
Right.
What do we have on the screen here about Mike Tyson? Oh yes, about the social media quote. Yeah. And some guy at an airplane found that out the hard way, didn't he?
Social media made y'all way too comfortable disrespecting people and not getting punched in the face for it. And that is 100% true.
It's very accurate quote.
Super accurate. That is
From Iron Mike Tyson himself, who at 50 some odd years old, none of y'all would want to fuck with.
No.
That man can still throw.
I mean, that guy, did you see the clip of that guy after?
Oh, God, it was, yeah.
And the guy that was like filming him was laughing at him.
Yeah. Well,
and he was just sitting there, he was like,
should just be happy.
Hand was all cut open.
Should be happy he didn't get killed. I mean, Mike Tyson without gloves?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. At close range?
Yeah. No, I would have just been like, did you see what Dana White did after?
Oh, yeah, that was funny.
Filmed a video of like, this is this is what you should do.
Right.
Like, and to be honest, if he's telling you to get out of your seat, like you still get up because it's Mike Tyson, but you just be like, well, I was the one that was sitting there, but okay, like, fine. You're being a bit of a bully, but all right. And then go away. Like, don't cause any confrontation. You don't want to get decked.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, yeah, that wouldn't be cool. But if you don't just go and antagonize someone like that, you don't start trash talking and, trying to get this guy angry, because when that guy snaps, you get your ear bit off. Like, that guy is next level. Like, you keep him at calm. When he's calm, he seems absolutely fine. Yes, he's still a little mentally tapped at times, but like, he seems like you could have a good conversation with him. Yeah. But if you piss him off, especially on the wrong day, on the wrong flight, you might get punched in the face. And that is not, I wouldn't want to deal with that. Like, even for money, like if that's what that guy was trying to go for, is like to get some money out of this.
Yeah.
It's not worth it, because you could end up with severe brain damage.
Yeah, no. The other great video of the weekend that was my favorite, if we're gonna kind of stay on this theme, I do want to get back to the Yankees very quickly after this, but the other video I saw, and I swear it seems like it was probably. It almost looked like the whole thing was manufactured and it was fake, but apparently it was real. So like it was in a nightclub, I guess in San Francisco, right? Okay. And so like it's like the visual that you see is just like a bunch of people partying like in the middle of like a dance floor, right? And then someone is holding up this lit sign that says Deebo, like something to the effect of Deebo Samuel is staying in San Francisco. Uh-huh. And then like whoever is holding their camera phone pans over to the right and Deebo Samuel is there in the club and he sees the sign and he's like, no, I'm out of here. And it was hilarious. Like the look on Deebo's face was just fantastic. It was amazing. And it was just like, oh, okay. I don't know if he manufactured and set all this up, if this whole thing was just kind of, scripted, but even if it was pretty great. Yeah. It was just really, and Deebo he's probably going to be gone. My fear is that he's going to end up in the Jets, because the Jets, oh man.
Hey, we can't get him, but we could use a good slot guy. And he's a big dude. I'm just, it's funny because prior to Tyreek Hill, the Dolphins would have been able to really use him. And there's so many Dolphin fans, myself included, that still want him, but it's like, it's overkill for them. It's never overkill.
They're three deep at wide receiver. I just don't like.
Deebo gets hurt every year. It's not overkill. I mean,
between Waddle and Hill and then Cedric Wilson and your fourth guy is like Preston Williams. I mean, it's just there's a lot.
Hill, he's getting older. He's going to come up with some hamstring issues. Like it's
possible. It's just, the cost is very prohibitive because between
he's
Deebo,
getting a big deal.
Between Deebo and Tyreek Hill, you could be allotting $55 to $60 million a year to two wide receivers. Not at the moment, but if he balls out this year and next year, and then they start negotiating after that, he'll be the market dictates that he'll be a $35 to $40 million a year.
And
player.
That's when you get rid of Tyreek Hill, because he's going to be on his way down, and you keep freeing up some room,
We'll see. Yeah, I mean, look, the NFL is all about kicking the can down the road. Anyways, we wanted to get back to the Yankees, though.
Yeah. So, Yankees last week, a solid week. I mean, they took, what, 2 of 3 from the Tigers?
2 of 3 from the Tigers and swept the Indians. So they took care of the AL Central.
Which isn't... that should have been handled pretty close to that.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say it's...
Tigers are not a good team.
That's why I would say it was a pretty good week.
The Indians were like a 500 team coming into it. So.
Pretty good week. It's something that this is what they have to do when they face these teams.
Here's the bigger problem. Good. They're 10-6 right now. They're tied for first. On the surface, things look okay. Here's where we get into the whole, does this team pass the eyeball test? And to me, they still do not. The lineup is not good. It's not deep. They're still too reliant on home runs.
I was talking about Hicks last week, and I was like, that's not that guy. He's not a 300+ hitter. Now he's down to 273. Had a week where he only got a handful of hits.
Right.
And
Aaron Hicks is going to be who he is. Most of these guys are going to be who they are.
Yeah.
Like Aaron Judge is still not a clutch player. He's going to give you the numbers. The numbers are going to be there at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. He's going to hit 30 home runs. He's going to drive in 100 or more. Those numbers are going to be
like
there.
100 runs,
Right. He's going to do all those things. But what is he going to do in clutch big moments? Like, the guy wants to get paid $35 million a year. I'm sorry. He's not a $35 million a year player. And what the Yankees offered him was very, very fair contract, very market value contract for his level of production and his level of clutch. And I don't want to hear anything about well, he can grow to become a more clutch player. No. That's something that you either have or you do not. And the guy's been in the league for 5 years now. He's still not technically ever gotten a walk-off hit.
I mean, Gleyber Torres has 6.
Torres has 6 walk-off hits. And I don't even know that I would consider Gleyber an incredibly clutch player, but he certainly had more clutch moments.
You got to consider
Aaron
him
Judge has
fairly
had a walk-off.
clutch.
What has he had? He's had a walk-off sac fly and a walk-off walk.
Right.
He might have even had a walk-off hit by pitch or something like that. That's Aaron Judge dances around walk-off hits. He doesn't like to get them.
Yeah.
And he's not clutch a lot of times in games either. It's very, I'm not clutch hits aren't all just about walk-off hits. Right. That's just that's more of a coincidence. But there's several big moments
throughout the game. Yeah.
Right. And I'm sorry, I don't recall a lot of his
knocking pitchers out of games that, really compiling,
He's a good player. He's not a great player. He's a good player. He's a really good player, actually, because he does a lot of things really well. His to me, he's missing that one gene that you want in guys like that.
Yeah.
And that's the gene that Derek Jeter had.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not ready to say he's not clutch or not. I just say he's neither to me right now. It's not that he's not clutch. It's just that he's not super clutch. I'm expecting him to potentially do something. Just, I don't know what. And when you see people get up, when you saw people like Derek Jeter get up, you were like, he's not working a walk. He's going to get a base hit somewhere. That's what he's going to do. He's going to put the ball in play, probably a line drive into right field, or maybe hit the ball out of the ballpark. You just expected when he got up in a big moment, you were shocked when he didn't get on or he struck out or something like that. You were shocked.
But here's the thing I want to say about Judge, though. It's not like Yankee fans have this expectation of every single player on the roster. For Christ's sake, we would just like to see Joey Gallo get a fucking hit. Or even take a hit by pitch or something.
I just want to see him. I want to see him gone.
Right. No, I know. You know what I'm saying, though.
Yeah.
The expectations for every player are not the same. I don't need every guy in the lineup to be clutch. I don't need every guy in the lineup to hit 30 home runs. I don't need every guy in the lineup to score 100. But with Aaron Judge, sorry, the spotlight is different. The expectations are different. Mm-hmm. For a guy who wants to be the face of the franchise, which he already is, and to get a $35 million a year contract, you need to be great all around.
Yeah.
You can't pick and choose what you're great at. Sorry. Mm-hmm. And if you're and the expectation, here's the problem. When you're a Yankee, the expectation is, fair or not, right or wrong, justified or completely ridiculous, the expectation is to win championships and to be clutch in big moments because that's what New Yorkers expect. And if you cannot do that, this is not the place for you. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying Eric Judge can't succeed in New York. He's obviously put up statistically good campaigns through his first 5 years in the league here when he's healthy. But New Yorkers, Yankee fans have different levels of expectations when it comes to those big moments. We expect championships. And if you can't produce those and have clutch moments in big games, it's not going to work for you here. And I'm sorry, but the Yankees offered that man a fair contract.
They did.
I don't want to enough about Aaron Judge because there's other stuff to talk about here.
I think it was very fair, but yeah, I want to get into let's get into.
There's one other thing I want to say.
About?
Yeah, okay, you had a good week.
Okay, yeah.
Could you fucking take 2 of 3 at least from the Orioles? Do we have to bend the knee to the fucking Orioles every time? Or God forbid, could we maybe sweep them? Is that possible? Well, I'm getting way ahead of myself. Just try to take 2 of 3 from the fucking Baltimore Orioles if you could, okay? Mm-hmm. It's not even like Buck Showalter's managing that team anymore, okay? Like, that team is a AAA team at best. Mm-hmm. They have a couple of good players in that lineup.
They got to get out of the bad. They got to get out of the bad habit
Mullins.
Of playing down to their competition.
Yes, it's a terrible thing. But look, the Orioles, I like the top of their lineup with Mullins and Mountcastle. That's a nice little 1-2 punch. And they've got some other young talent in there, Hayes, and some other guys coming up. But let's be honest, that's a team you got to beat up on. That's the reason why the Yankees were in the fucking position that they were last year, was because they couldn't beat up on the Orioles. Everyone else in the AL East did, but not them. The Rays,
not just the AL East, everyone else did.
The Rays and the Red Sox and the rest of the American League had their fucking way with the Baltimore Orioles, but no, not the big bad Yankees. The Yankees had to go and what were the Yankees, like 11-8, 12-8? No, not 12-8. It had to be like 11-8 or something like that.
It wasn't good.
You can't go 11-8 against the Baltimore Orioles and expect to win a division.
Right.
Sorry. Mm-hmm. You've got to be. I think the Rays were 18-1 against them. That's how you win a division. Not 11-8.
Yeah, you have to beat up on the bad teams.
You have to take a minimum of 14 games from the Orioles. There's 19 games you play against them. You got to take 14 of them.
Yeah, 70%.
You got 5 losses to them a year. That's it. That's all I'm giving you.
You should take 70%.
Yeah,
70 to 75% of the bad teams. You should be winning 75% of those games.
Right. So the Orioles come into town starting tomorrow for a 3-game set. Can we fucking? Or maybe I guess it would be. Oh, it could actually be 4. I'm not sure. Could we take the majority of the games, or maybe even pull off a sweep against the vaunted Orioles? Is it possible? Do you have it in you, Yankees? Look, they had a good week. I'm not going to rip them too much. They had a good week. They went 5-1 against. Pitching has been really good. There's nothing you can say about the pitching. I know Chad Green had a little blip the other day, but that shit's going to happen, you know?
I still dislike Jordan Montgomery. I am not a Jordan Montgomery. I am waiting for him to see you later. Trade him. Trade him with Gallo and get rid of him.
I'm an Uncle Nestor.
Oh, I think he's great. I think he's great. He's going to be if he could continue to do this for at least 3 to 4 more years.
Yeah, why not? I mean, he doesn't throw exceptionally hard.
He throws in the low 90s.
His fastball plays harder because of the rest of his repertoire. So yeah.
Yeah, and he's got all sorts of different arm angles, and it seems like he's got that body. It seems like he got that David Wells body type where he won't have a lot of injuries.
But not as fat.
No.
Nowhere near.
Obviously, the dude's an athlete. Did you see that play that he made?
Oh, the dive to first base.
Yeah.
I know. You get scared with that kind of stuff. Like, you don't want pitchers doing that, but hey, he got the out though. It was probably the only way he would have gotten the out. He's an impressive guy. He's fun to watch too.
He's so fun.
He's a lot of history.
He looks like he's having a good time out there.
Yeah, and he's got the funky body language sometimes with pitches, and it throws batters' timing off and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He works with everything he has. He's a poor man's El Duque, a lefty poor man's El Duque.
I mean, if you look at his ERA when he's been starting, it's not poor man's, but yes, I understand what you mean.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, but he has been great. He's been fun to watch. Even Garrett Cole, people are you go right to the Yankee website, and it's like, Garrett Cole is back. He pitched against the Cleveland Indians.
Easy.
He pitched well yesterday. 6 1/3, 6 2/3, something like that.
6 1/3
with 9
strikeouts. Yeah, it was a good game.
It's a good game against a bad team. Settle
a light
settle
lineup.
Down.
I mean, the big bat in that lineup is Jose Ramirez, and he is a big bat. But
I do agree that Garrett Cole's going to be fine throughout the year. He's just having a little bit of a blip right now, and that's okay.
I think the problem is it's a little bit bigger of a blip. It's because if you look at what he has been since the tack, that's the problem. Since he got rid of the spider tack, it has been a different guy. Let's be honest. Mm-hmm. And he did not help his cause last year by laying that brick that he laid against the Red Sox in that playoff game. Yeah. that will stick with him until he overcomes that. If he can.
Yeah, it'll stick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Spider tack with him.
Yep.
That's going to be one of those things that we'll have to see how it plays out throughout the season. I do think he's going to be absolutely fine. Dude throws high 90s, has a good slider, has a good curve. I mean, he's just got a good repertoire. So I'm not super worried about him. I'd be shocked if he ended up blowing up and having a 4 ERA this year. I would say he's probably going to be in the low 3s.
He is.
He's going to win double-digit games. It's one of those things that he will be fighting for that ace spot if Severino keeps pitching the way he has.
Yeah, here's what I'll say about the ace thing. Yes, I know Garrett
doesn't
Cole
matter.
Is the ace, but Nestor Cortez is currently the best pitcher.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's the most reliable one.
Yeah.
And the bullpen is phenomenal. I mean, other than, the
blips. You have the Chad Green blip, you have the Aroldis Chapman kind of.
Well, the Chapman one is the one that worries me. What I will tell you, though,
he always seems to figure it out. It doesn't worry me because he always seems to figure it out. It takes him a little while, but he figures it out.
Was it, I think it was the Friday night game, but whichever game was on Amazon Prime there. I think it was that Friday night game. The one where Michael King came in relief and struck out 8 of 9 guys and 7 in a row.
King.
That guy, see, that's one of those guys. This is where I'll give Brian Cashman some credit because the guys like Michael King and Jonathan Loaizaga, who he was patient with, both of these guys, Cashman and the Yankees were very patient with, they have now paid off because we all know Loaizaga, most likely, well, maybe not anymore, it could be King, but we all think that Loaizaga is probably the heir to the closer's throne.
Oh, I hope not.
But then again, maybe he isn't. Maybe King is. Who knows? I don't want to get out of hand with Michael King, but I will tell you the thing about Michael King. Man, that guy throws hard, and he can hit corners. I mean, it's like I'm not even going to let this name escape my mouth because it's sacrilegious. But I will tell you that the guy throws harder than the guy whose name I was going to mention, and he can really hit corners very, very well. But that's all. That's where I'm going to leave it because I'm not going to go there. The guy's a relief pitcher who's only been in the league for a couple of years, but his stuff is really impressive. Like it's wipeout stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this year
he had those batters looking like they didn't even belong in Major League Baseball. Like it was embarrassing.
These stats right now, what he has just year to date, 18. I'm sorry. Let me try. Let me come back. 10.2 thirds innings pitched. 18 Ks, 2 walks.
Yeah.
He's got a whip of 1 and an ERA of 0.8.
I'm surprised his whip is even 1.
Well, I mean, he's only 10 innings. He's given up 9 hits.
Okay. So and then you've got the 2 walks. So
but when you're striking out 18 batters in 10 innings,
that's nuts. It's 2 an inning.
You can give up a hit from time to time because you're going to just strike out the side. Like that's it was also one of those nights. It's like, again, you don't want to be a prisoner of the moment and get too carried away. But so far what he showed you a lot this season. He had that, but to me, the bigger outing for him was not that strikeout one, but that one against the Blue Jays earlier in the year when the Yankees were up 3-0. Yeah.
Chapman comes in for the save, has nothing, walks the bases loaded. They got to get him out. And King comes in, cleans it up. No runs.
Yep.
Struck out the first guy, then got the Bichette double play. And that was it. That to me was more impressive even than what he did the other night. But what he did the other night was wild. I mean, oh my God. Like that was just impressive to watch.
He is good. He has got some strikeout
that
stuff.
Yankee bullpen is very deep and very good.
Yep.
And the only thing that's going to maybe hurt this team is that when the rosters dial back in May, who are you going to take out of that bullpen? Because you're going to have to make some sacrifices. Because they carried like 16 pitchers, I think, into. They carried like 16 pitchers into. Because you were expanded to 28.
Something like that, yeah.
So they carried 16 and 12 position players. So they're going to have to. You're going to have to scale it back by 2 players, right? So they probably both got to come from the pen, I would think.
I mean,
you can't scale back the position players.
There's room. Yeah, they'll be fine.
I mean, there's got to be guys there's certain guys you got to like hang on to though, because like Wandy Peralta, you could think, well, but you need him. He's a lefty, So you can't get there. There are a couple. There is definitely, who's gonna definitely one of the guys who's gonna be sacrificed there is that Marinaccio guy. I like him actually. Yeah. I like him, but he'll probably be. They have him though. Mm-hmm. They have that guy in the pen a couple times. He'll be one of them. And then there's another guy too that I'm forgetting about in that bullpen that will probably go. It won't be that hard.
Sears?
Oh yeah, it could be him. It could be him. That sounds right. Because I haven't even really seen him much. I mean, Marinaccio has at least pitched a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are probably the two right there. Actually, man, maybe it won't be as painful as I thought. I like Marinaccio though. He's a guy that they need to keep their eye on for future roles in this.
Yeah,
pen.
I mean, their bullpen it's going to be tough to kind of figure it. I mean, it's not going to be tough to figure it out because
what a problem to have.
Yeah, it's not. Plus, there's going to be injuries and things like that.
Yes, there will be injuries. Yep.
People are going to have to step up, and that's good. That's good when
Anyways,
you
have
a
deep
chart. All right, that's it.
10-6. There's not a lot to be pissed about.
No, I think of overall, you should be pretty.
I think you and I both would have been pretty on board with 10-6 to start the season. So
I think any team would be happy to be 10-6 to start the season, especially when you're in the toughest division in baseball.
I have to be honest with you. The only thing that's really bothering me outside of the lineup depth is just
I do like that we're the toughest division in baseball. I do like that we're in the toughest division in baseball again, though.
Yes,
where it
absolutely.
should be.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah, you've got 4 legitimately good teams, and I know the Red Sox are 2 games under 500, but they're better than that. So
right. Yeah. Which I still am saying I don't find their lineup super scary. There are a couple of guys that I find scary, and one I find scary. The others, a couple others that I'm kind of like, yeah, I could see them getting a hit, but
there's 3 guys in that lineup that still scare me. I mean, Devers by far.
Devers is the only guy that scares me. But
he's on a different level, but he's like on an MVP level.
Story is a guy that I'm like, yeah, he's a good player.
Story is not one of the guys that scared me. Xander and JD are the other two that kind of.
No, see, because I think JD is just he's on a rapid decline. And I just see over the course of a season, his numbers just won't be great.
He scares me in a moment though.
I think he did 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Xander definitely does.
He doesn't scare me.
That guy's
either.
A player.
I don't. I think he's a good hitter, and that's it. But I think what he gives up, what he gets offensively, he gives up defensively. So I'm not. It's an offensive league. He's got no range. He's got brick hands. Like he's just. I know it's an offensive league. It's just that's what I feel about him. I am not overly concerned with him.